Hello and welcome to Depth of Field. My name is Eric, and this is a show where we deviate a little bit from the norm of what you're used to on Twitch. I mean, we're still geek-oriented, and we'll talk video games, but this is a show about movies and movie-adjacent stuff and everything that comes with movies. We're going to shoot the shit, we're going to talk, we're going to do trivia, and I have a very special guest who you may recognize from a huge cult classic of Canadian television. This is going back to some of my heydays of watching TV. Check out if you recognize this person.
So, the killer instinct. Who's got it?
Right now, I do.
It's a brand new grave, dug entirely by you.
Oh, man. Hey, how bad can it get? All you gotta do is smack the most balls into those mailboxes. And the points are yours. Ready? Grace?
Save it, Cody.
Go!
What are you doing? You sensitive creep.
Hey, how come she gets all the...
How can you hurt me like that?
No, you got no rules.
You're going out with me, but still thinking of her.
It was a question, the whole perfect thing.
Okay, I'm not perfect, but I'm a terrific person. I'm sweet, I'm caring, I'm gentle. You can't see that, then who needs you?
Are we gonna lose points for this?
You messed up big time, Cody.
She said it, folks, not me.
Grace, would you just listen to me for a second? Emily means nothing to me. No offense.
None taken.
Ow, look, I know how terrific you are. Ow, and you just don't listen to me. Ow, look, we're great together. I've never been happier. Because you're not perfect. You're perfect for me.
That's so beautiful.
Repeats and repeats it and just kept going for a long time.
So does that mean that you get royalty checks?
Oh yeah, I get royalty checks for like $6 and 5 cents sometimes. It's been a while now, but yeah, the royalties don't quite work the same here as they do in the States.
No, did it ever get picked up in the States?
No.
No.
That would have been great because
Yeah.
we would have had publicity and, we didn't even know how many fans we had out there until just recently when we put something up regarding a little reunion. And then the likes on the trailer were going up like non-stop for 48 hours, and it went up to 1 million.
Right? Yeah.
So we were texting each other, freaking out, like we had no idea how many fans we had, and so that was really cool.
But I mean, back in the day, could you walk down the street without being? I mean, you guys were royalty, just the way that the Saved by the Bell kids were royalty. You were our Canadian royalty. Did you have that experience? Did you feel like a star back then?
Yeah, in some ways. I mean, there was more in Toronto and stuff because there was more Anglophones, and here there's French Canadian. So I got recognized for a show that I started with, which was a French show.
Watatatao.
Yeah, I got recognized for that quite a bit within the French community. But after, student bodies was, I still get it.
Oh, I can imagine.
Are you guys? Yeah.
Well, there was. I mean, I saw some footage of the reunion, or the people waiting. Like there was a conference room full of. How many people came to see you guys?
I don't know. It was like, 700, 800 people. Like we had no idea what to expect.
Uh-huh.
Our friend Ryan Stick from You, Me and YTV put this trailer together because he was a big fan of Student Bodies, and he put it up, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna go to Fan Expo, but we don't know what to expect. Are we gonna walk into a room of like 20 people, but when we got there, it was there were people waiting outside the doors and everything, and it was quite an emotional experience, actually. It was really neat.
And so from student bodies to, well, let's have a look. Can we set up the second clip from another show that Victoria is currently starring in?
It just passed.
Just passed, yeah. But this is pretty big stuff. Playing opposite one of the biggest stars, maybe in the world. Certainly the director of one of my favorite movies of last year, if that gives anyone a hint.
Yes.
As we're getting this queued up, are we ready to go? All right, check this out. Here is Victoria in action as Layla Navarro.
Go here.
Do you know how badly you have to screw up to go from chief of base to the head of TFAT? He can't make another mistake. He knows that.
Even if you're right, you don't have the authority to write it to Marsh, okay? That's
Treasury, I know.
Jack.
So let's make sure we get them in by Thursday. We on Yemeni time this morning, Dr. Ryan.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's get started.
And wow, cupping the attitude
That
to
was
Jack
fun.
Ryan.
Yeah, I was the CIA branch chief, so that was kind of cool.
Wow. So so that's a show that films. For those of you who don't know, we're doing the show out of Montreal. This is a show. It's an Amazon show that was filmed here in Montreal.
It filmed in Montreal. It filmed in Washington. It filmed in Paris, if I'm not mistaken, and then they went to South Africa.
And so you're starring as the head of that branch of the CIA, opposite John Krasinski, who is the new Jack Ryan after being played by Sean Connery and Harrison Ford.
And there was another one. Gosh, there were a few people.
Who was the other Jack Ryan? Does anybody remember?
There was, I should know this, not Kevin.
Wait, Hawkeye. No, is it Hawkeye? What's his name? Gerard Butler. Did he? No. Jeremy Renner. Did he play? Was that Jack Ryan or did he play? No, I think he played Bourne. I get mixed up, but anyways.
Yeah, there's a few.
Here's the interesting thing, by the way, and I want to get back to playing with Krasinski, but you are like, you're a John Clancy full on, right? Because you're also, not only do you play in those two, or have you played in those two, as well as 38 more credits to your IMDb, but you are also a voice actor and motion capture actor in some Tom Clancy video games.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Splinter Cell.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. I realized that when I started on Jack Ryan, I was, and I realized Tom Clancy was the Splinter Cell thing too, and I was like, interesting, yeah.
So what do you like better? Do you like doing video game voice acting or screen acting? Do you like TV, video games, movies?
That's a really good question.
What's your bag?
I mean, it's so different. I mean, I'll always love acting, like real, serious acting, in film and television and theater. But the great thing about motion capture is that you don't have to worry too much about the way you look. You look like an idiot when you're there doing it because of the suits and the little balls everywhere and all that stuff and the weird little helmet with a camera that makes your face look this big. But it's just amazing that you don't have to worry about the way you look, and then there's this whole world that's created around you, and your costume and your expressions and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun, Sometimes I can't even believe that's a job.
Right. But motion capture, I mean, it must use a different skill set, you're exercising different muscles.
There's a lot of technical aspects to it, for sure. Even when you start getting into position, and you have to do this T position, and you have to do all these movements to begin. At first, I can't remember them all, but
really?
So that they could see how your movements go before you get into the action. So each time you have an action, you get into that T pose, and when you come out, you get into that T pose again. So there's technicalities. Yeah.
So now I'm trying to picture, because our first episode we had Sean Bechu who told this amazing story.
He's like a pro.
He's a pro, but I don't know if you knew this, but there was I'll never forget this. There was a scene that he described for a video game. I think it was Overwatch 2. Maybe, where he had to play all the characters in an orgy scene.
The orgy.
Yeah. So does that mean that not only did he
I don't know how he did that.
And then he had to reset and...
I don't know how he did that. Just the amount of different poses and characters he had to come up with, that's brilliant. Right. I mean, that chapeau, Sean, because
Good on you, Sean.
shit. That's, yeah. He's a very physical actor.
Clearly, yes, exactly.
See that game. Anyway, it was, yeah, there's, what was the question?
I see that I've made you blush. I talk about playing in orgies, and all of a sudden you're blushing. Here.
I'm not the one who should be blushing.
Right.
No, but we were talking about the technicalities and what Sean what?
And well, just, having to, because you were talking about the reset. And so
Yes.
if he's doing all these positions in an orgy, does he have to like do the move and then
Yeah,
reposition
it's like
himself
he finishes the move and then it's another one and then it's another one, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I should take this opportunity to say we have Victoria here with us. So if you guys want to ask any questions, if you have some student bodies questions, if you want to talk Jack Ryan, if you want to talk video games, you're also a producer. You produced Pyewacket, one of my favorite horror movies from last year.
Wow.
And so I want to get into all that, but before we do, there's a little fun I want to have. I want to kind of loosen up the, get the juices flowing here. Speaking of, I'm not gonna go that direction. We're gonna play a little something called Tagline Trivia.
Oh boy.
And so I'm gonna name you, because you are a movie buff.
Yes. I mean, how can we not be?
Right, and so I encourage you guys to play along at home as well. So if you're on the chat, let us know what you think here. I'm going to name a tagline. You have to figure out what that movie is, and then we're gonna get into. Don't forget, by the way, we're reviewing Captain Marvel today. We're going to talk about some new trailers. There's lots of fun to be had. But here, first tagline trailer, or tagline trivia.
Okay.
This is an easy one. Okay, this is a gimme.
Okay.
There are 3.7 trillion fish in the ocean. They're looking for one.
Nemo, Finding Nemo.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's cute.
On the same kind of tip here, a tale of murder, lust, greed, revenge, and seafood.
Fish Called Wanda.
Oh man!
That's one of the best movies ever.
Isn't it? I've come to kill Kevin.
So good.
So good.
So good.
It's basically a Monty Python movie without being the Monty Python.
Definitely one of the best comedies out there.
Oh, okay. Well, so far you're 2 for 2.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Fish Called Wanda are like right up there.
And there was it was the anniversary of John Candy's death recently.
I know.
And
25 years.
I
I
had.
can't believe it's been 25 years.
I know. And there was a couple of years back, I was working in Toronto and I had the opportunity to interview his family.
I'm friends with his brother.
Oh, really?
Kevin.
No kidding.
Yeah, we worked together a long time ago on a show called Misguided Angels.
Right.
And he's a wonderful, wonderful person. So we spoke a lot about Chris.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
About Chris, John?
I mean, oh my God.
You're thinking of Chris Farley.
I'm thinking about Chris Farley.
It happens.
It happens all the time. But no, I meant Kevin was for Chris Farley. So no, I do not know John's brother.
But his family are they love him so much, and it was really great because I also got to talk to why am I drawing a total blank? Guys, help me, Blues Brothers.
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, yeah, exactly. And his memories of John. Let's just celebrate John Candy. We love John Candy.
What a great human and great comedian. We were really lucky to have him. I just can't believe it's been 25 years. It just feels like it wasn't long ago.
The Great Outdoors.
Yeah.
That was, or just
Uncle Buck,
in Vacation. I mean, his.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we
let's
can
go on.
talk about John Candy forever. I can't believe I said Chris Farley, but hey, they're both great.
Yeah, but I see where you might have gotten a little bit confused there. Okay, I've never even heard of Gladiatress, so we're not going to go with that.
Okay,
one.
no.
There's no gene for the human spirit. That might be a bit too broad.
Okay, not Children of Men.
No, great movie.
No. The no gene for the human spirit.
1997, science fiction. Ethan Hawke.
Hold on, Gattaca.
Yes, yes.
I love Ethan Hawke.
3 for 3. Okay.
All right.
Even a hitman deserves a second shot.
Ooh, Professional? No.
No, but you're.
Okay, wait.
Think this had a fantastic 80s soundtrack.
Oh, American Psycho. No,
but that
also had an amazing 80s.
Yeah, that's true. Grosse Point Blank.
Oh.
With, what's his name? John Cusack.
John Cusack.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I saw that a long time ago.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I used to work at a video store. Well, I
Really?
worked at like many different video stores for like 6 years. Best
No
job
kidding.
ever.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's Quentin Tarantino got his start as he was a movie store clerk.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you got the movie Clerks, and yeah, it really was the best job ever growing up. Yeah,
So it was
that's where I remember the movie not so much from the movie, but the cover, because I used to have to return all the movies all the time. So I remember so many movies just by their covers, even the ones that I've forgotten about or didn't get a chance to see. I will always have the visual image of the VHS.
Okay, well then, having worked at a video store, yeah. By the way, don't worry. I used to work in the cassette section of a record store. So, let me ask you this: we're going off script here.
Yeah.
Not
What
this-
script?
Yeah, exactly. What would you say is an example of one of your favorite
funny.
underrated movies of all time?
An example of one of the best underrated.
Or what you consider to be one of the most underrated movies of all time?
Oh wow, there's a lot.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Like recent or of all time?
I'll let you think about it.
I mean, there's Night on Earth,
Oh God, is that
Jim
ever
Jarmusch,
good? Yes!
all of Jim Jarmusch's films.
Night on Earth is so good, though.
So good.
If for those of you who haven't seen, 5 simultaneous taxi
Taxi
rides
drivers.
in different cities.
New York, Paris,
Helsinki.
Helsinki.
Yeah.
And New York, Paris. Where is it?
Tokyo.
No. Italy.
Yeah.
Benigni.
Oh my God, with Roberto Benigni.
At Paris, I said it right, with Beatrice Dalle, I believe it was her.
Yeah,
Where
and
she plays
there's-
a blind girl. Amazing.
Oh, that one is so good. And then there's
when
also
when she's doing her lipstick and just in the back of the car, and she's this blind girl, and it's such a beautiful scene.
well, that's
one.
the human spirit. That movie. That is
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome.
That's one. I mean, there's
Yeah.
millions, but okay.
All right. We have Real Brick Wall who says,
Hi,
"Wow,
Rick
she's
Brick
good at this
Wall."
game." Yeah, so far so good. And Solo SC or Solo SK says, "I'm trash with movie knowledge." Well,
Well, I thought I wasn't going to be that good, but he's taking it easy on me.
all right. Shall we play some more?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fine.
Let's do this. Just do it, but do actually DEUX, as in the French for de, or the French for two, de. Just do it.
What's the question?
That is the
That's
tagline. Yeah. I'll give you a hint.
Just do it?
1993. It is a sequel, so it's part deux.
Okay.
Charlie Sheen.
Oh, gosh. No.
I think I've stumped you now.
Yeah, not Wall Street.
Spy
no.
movie.
Okay, spy movie. Oh my God.
Was it? Yeah, that was the spy
Sheen.
movie, right? Yeah. Hot Shots.
Oh my
Hot
God,
Shots
that's a tough one.
Okay, that is
That's
a tough.
a
Yeah.
tough one.
Okay, on May 6th, and this is much more recent, 2005.
Okay.
On May 6th, See Paris Die. I doubt anyone in this room or anyone in this room has seen that movie, but this
On
is
May 6th, and this is a recent?
2005.
Okay.
See Paris Die. I think a lot of people were excited to see Paris die in this movie.
Oh,
is Paris a place or is it a person?
Huh.
And if it's a person, is it a real person?
Good time, Paris Hilton. Mm-hmm. Well, what would I know of Paris Hilton movie? Okay.
House of... No, we're done. Okay,
Yeah.
House of Wax. It was...
Oh my God, yes, I know the director, Jaume Collet-Serra.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
There you go. Well, he's
Yeah.
probably very upset with you right now.
I'm sorry, Jaume.
The Last Man on Earth is not alone.
The Last Man on Earth is not alone.
Because he got a dog with him.
Oh, John, no, wait. Oh, hold on. Oh, gosh. It's Children of, no.
No, but that is such a good movie. But
I
no,
know.
Will Smith.
Right, but what's it called? It's not Pursuit of,
The Last Man on Earth is not alone.
I know, I didn't see that one with the dog.
Right. I Am Legend.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see it, boo. See, now I'm
Oh.
Ryan.
Oh, we have Ryan
I
Stick.
know who this guy is.
Okay, so Ryan Stick is asking me to ask you about Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yeah.
The movie Some Kind of
Yeah,
Wonderful?
yeah.
With
It
the
was-
girl drummer?
Yeah, Watts. It was my favorite movie of all time.
Wasn't that
practically.
John? Was it
John Hughes?
It was John Hughes.
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
It was, wait. We may be getting it confused because it was a John Hughes style film.
Right.
Ryan, was it John Hughes? Because he knows this movie as well as I do. But
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm a huge Some Kind of Wonderful fan. I saw it recently though, and
No, it didn't. I'm sure it didn't stand up.
but I had seen it so many times growing up, and it was such a beautiful triangle love story.
Yeah, John Hughes.
Okay, so it was John Hughes.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. And great soundtrack, and Eric Stoltz is great in it, and I used to love saying the lines from it.
Mary Stuart Masterson.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
But wait, who was the? Oh, Leah.
Leah Thompson.
Okay, So Mary Stuart Masterson was the blonde. She was the drummer.
Yeah, the short
right,
haired.
exactly.
Yeah, drummer. That's it.
And you were telling me also that Breakfast Club is one of your all-time
Yeah.
favorites. So I mean, you're a John Hughes guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love John Hughes and Christopher Guest, which is kind of different, but I like these in these 80s, 90s films, like Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles. But I guess it's because it was a big part of my childhood and growing up, you know?
Are you? Watts as my first crush says Vanna.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I really, really don't blame you. She was so cute in that movie.
Wait,
and
Watts being
Mary Stuart Masterson.
Okay, that was her character.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. All I care about in this goddamn life are you and my drums and me.
And I'm a drummer. I was pretty
So
into that.
good.
Hold on, and
You found that funny, eh? Who found that funny?
What, me? Right, exactly. So, a super hot girl drumming in a movie, I'm like 14 and watching it. And, yeah.
I wanted to be a drummer because of her.
So-
I didn't become a drummer, but that was one of the first things I wanted to do because of her. It just looked so cool.
Do you play any instruments?
No, I wish I'd played the drums. I just didn't give it enough time. But if I had to choose one, it would be drums. I'm hoping to get a drum set soon so that my daughter and I can get on that.
Right. And
Yeah.
you just came from a movie with your daughter's how old? If
She's
you don't
8.
mind.
She just turned 8.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you just went to go see Alita. with
Alita,
her.
yeah.
So what'd you think?
It was a little bit more violent than I expected for her.
Who brings an 8-year-old to I'm just kidding.
She's a mature 8-year-old, but she and normally she has no problem.
You bring
like
her to Halloween next, or
no.
Hellboy?
No, but she did find it like a little intense at one point, and I was like, "Do you want to leave?" And she's like, "No." No, it was good. It's very full of crazy action, and the technology is absolutely incredible. Like every time I see one of these movies, I'm blown away with how far they've taken it. And even as a mocap performer and as a producer, I do wonder so many times, how did they pull that off? How did they do that? How much time did that take?
Oh, the painstakingness of a movie. But then think about it. I mean, so it's James Cameron and
Rodriguez.
Yeah, and I love it. So
what an interesting combo.
Okay, if you had to choose one of the two.
Oh, there's someone. Oh God, I'm more of a Rodriguez.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Well, Sin City might be still
It's
ranks as one of my
so
favorite
amazing.
movie.
So amazing.
The second one wasn't as good, and
Yeah.
I actually loved his. There was the double
From Dusk
feature.
Till Dawn. Was that him?
Yeah, but him and Tarantino. But then they did that double feature.
Oh yeah,
and one
with,
was
Bullet. With what?
Which one?
Yeah,
Grindhouse,
Grindhouse.
yes, exactly.
And Bullet something? No, the one with Kurt
Death
Russell.
Proof?
Death Proof.
Right.
That was awesome.
But what was the name of the one that Rodriguez? Planet Terror. Oh God.
Oh
was that
yeah,
movie
with
amazing.
Rose McGowan in the leg.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm
Amazing.
a big fan of his. So
Yeah.
you like genre films as
Yes,
well?
yes, for sure.
And you've been a juror at Fantasia, which is, I mean, this is like a world-renowned
Festival.
genre movie festival. I guess it started as Asian movies, and now it's just all kinds of fantastic, as much Takashi Miike is.
It did have a bit more of an Asian, thing to it at the beginning, and horror. And there was a lot of because I've been a part of the festival like from its conception. I think
Really?
1996 was when I started acting. I graduated out of theater school, and I got right into the whole Fantasia thing as it started, and I've been going every single summer. I've presented movies there. and last year I was part of the jury for the Cheval Noir
That must be very
award.
cool.
It's yeah.
One thing I'll say to people out there, if you're not familiar with the Fantasia Film Festival and you love gore, you love horror, you love all that's kind
weird
of fantastical.
Weird documentaries.
Make your way to Montreal in, I guess, early summer.
July, August.
Yeah, July, August. It is a fantastic
It's
festival.
the best festival.
So what's it like being a juror on that kind of panel? I mean, you're not watching blockbusters. And you like,
no.
Are you looking for the weirdest, most fucked up thing you can?
No, not necessarily, because you get so we get a bunch of movies that we need to watch, and you got to find the time to watch these movies. So sometimes you try to go as much as you can to see it on the big screen, but sometimes you have no choice but to see them at home or on your laptop. That sucks. But when you're I hate watching movies on the laptop. But I try to give them justice as much as possible and try to see them on the big screen. But being a single mom with an 8-year-old, trying to logistically manage everything is tough. But it's not about which one's the weirdest. It's really about which one's the best one.
What's the best you've seen there?
Last year was Cam.
Oh, right.
It's a horror movie called Cam.
Okay.
And that one, we gave it the Best Screenplay Award and I think Best First Feature Award because it was, for me anyway, it was an unknown world that I wouldn't be familiar with, and it's like live cam girls. And when I was watching,
oh, that's the premise. Okay.
Yeah, and it's written by a girl who was a real live cam girl.
Oh, okay.
So, they say write about what you know, and she certainly wrote about what she knew. But it's a horror, like it does take a horrific twist to it. But what was really amazing was seeing this world that was completely foreign to me, and like that men would bet on, like not bet, but like tip online and asking the girl to do certain things. So the girls like eat a steak or weird things like jump up and down in a pool with colored lights and balls or whatever, like weird stuff, and they would just tip them. And I thought that was just fiction in the film until I found out, no, this really goes on.
Oh, it really, no, not that I would know.
So these girls make a lot of money. Uh-huh. But then there's the crazy competition between which one will do what.
And that's the premise of the movie.
How do you stay on top of the game? And it gets crazy.
So horror is something clearly you enjoy. You produced Pyewacket. Can you explain Pyewacket a little bit? Because this was like, it made all these top 10 lists last year.
Yeah, about 35 top 10 best of horror lists. Right up there with A Quiet Place and Hereditary.
Really? Two of my favorites from last year.
Yeah, me too. So it was really amazing to be up there and seeing that feedback. Pyewacket is a very personal movie to me, to the writer, director, Adam McDonald, who is a friend of mine from way back in the day. We started off as actors here in Montreal 20 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. And he did a movie called Backcountry, his first feature. I had seen his shorts prior, and I knew this guy was onto something. And then when he did Backcountry, I had read the script before he did it, and I loved it. And then after I was at his apartment one day, and he's like, I got an idea for this movie, and he pitched it scene by scene in his kitchen, and I was just getting shivers, and when I get goosebumps, I'm like, this is a sign. I'm like, Adam, we're making this movie. Mm-hmm. We're making this movie. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, so let's do it. And contrary to my previous film that took me forever to get made, Wait Till Helen Comes, it's a whole other story, it took 10 years for that journey. And Pyewacket took within 6 months to a year to get going. So that was pretty amazing. So Pyewacket, you want me to talk about what Pyewacket's about?
Well, give us a brief synopsis of what people can expect if they ever...
Yeah, so Pyewacket is about this teenage girl who's kind of a little bit of an outcast. So she's got this little group of friends who's lost her father recently, and her mother has gone into this kind of depressive
Her mother
state.
played by none other than...
Holden.
Yeah, from The Americans and Walking Dead. Yeah.
And who you interviewed not long ago.
That's right, yeah.
She's an amazing, talented woman. And so she plays Leah's mother, who's going through a depression, and she's drinking because she's having a really hard time with the death of her husband. And at one point, the relationship starts getting quite tumultuous between the two, and they're having a lot of arguments. And at one point, the mother decides she needs to get out of there, and she gets a little place in the middle of nowhere, and she basically moves them up there and takes Leah away from her friends. Now, when that happens to a teenager whose friends are her life, it's not a good thing. And so this movie is about the impulse that a teenager can take through those very raw emotions that a young girl could go through, especially with her mother. And so they have this, what I forgot to mention is that her and her friends are like naively into the occult. Like naively.
Yeah, the occult is not something to be naively into.
No, I know, but there's those teens, that's kind of like goth teens or like death metal guys who will kind of be into it, but they're not really knowledgeable about it that much, right? So they've got this thing going on, and so Leah's got a bit of a fascination towards the occult, and after a huge fight with her mom, she reaches into her occult books and grabs a book and decides to perform a ritual to evoke a witch to kill her mother. Now, she does this on impulse, so already the next day she regrets it, and her mom's already being nice to her, but she doesn't really think it's going to work, and then slowly, it's slow burn, slowly but surely you realize that she's awoken something in the woods.
Do you believe in the occult?
Deep question.
We're getting deep over here. And let us know what you think in the chat if you are into the occult as well.
It's not that I'm into the occult.
Or if you believe, if you want to participate in if you're into the discussion and you want to let us know what you think about the occult.
The reason I wanted to make this movie was to give a message to teenagers not to fuck with black magic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say not to try and put sick a witch on your mom, but same thing.
That
right?
too,
Yeah.
but it's just, the theme is like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
And teenagers, when they have impulsive emotions, they can do things that they'll regret. Mm-hmm. And so my message, I really wanted to get at, Adam's message especially, was like, don't mess with that stuff. Because I do believe that dark forces, exist, and just don't try to invite them in.
That's a perfect segue to, speaking of dark forces, I think, hold on. Uruvana, is that the right
Wiccan?
pronunciation?
Her name? Uruvana?
I'm Wiccan. Okay, yeah. Well, in terms of the occult. So, yes, well, what do you think? Uruvana, is it feasible? Is this a feasible premise? Can someone summon a witch to get back at their mom?
They can. Now, whether it's going to work or not, I can't
right,
tell
okay,
you.
No, exactly. But
I can't tell you. I don't suggest you do.
Right, okay.
I don't suggest
Did you do a lot of research?
Adam did a lot of research. I had my own personal research because I had a bit of a phase when I was younger. I related a lot to that character, not because I tried to kill my mother, but because there was a fascination with it. Mm-hmm. Maybe because I was really into horror films and so on. I had, the Ouija board and books and like posters and this kind of weird dark basement with red lights and which was my room. And so I looked into it, but at one point things got a bit weird and I got certain signs that scared me enough to get rid of everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So, actually, before I get to the segue I was going for, when you spent time with John Krasinski, did you talk horror with? I mean, because
no, because it's
Quiet
funny.
Place was one of my favorite movies.
I know,
last
but it's
year.
funny. We didn't. We talked about that we were making films, but we didn't get into what the films were about. We didn't have that much time to talk in between scenes. He was in like every single scene, but. We didn't. We were talking about what we were going to be doing next, but we didn't talk about what we just did. And I was working on Pyewacket, and he had done A Quiet Place already. And then when the best of started coming out, we're both on these lists, and I was like, that's so weird that the movies that we were doing around the same time as Jack Ryan or just prior became these really good films. That was kind of neat.
You also mentioned Hereditary, and I think the makers of Hereditary just announced their new movie today. I saw it in movie news. So there's
Did they?
yeah, and of course the other great horror movie of late was Get Out, and so Us is coming out soon. I'm very excited. I'm going to review that. Speaking of reviews, I'm going to be reviewing Captain Marvel in just a little bit.
Yes.
But let me do my little transition here because we were talking about summoning bad spirits from hell. And one thing I would like to do on this show...
Not summon a bad
It's
spirit
not
from
summon, no. But we'll call it the trailer park. And we will play around in the trailer park. We'll watch some new trailers and talk about our impressions. And so one of the big trailers that came out this week was for Hellboy. And this is a reboot of the, I guess, mid-2000s series made by one of your favorite directors.
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro. There was Hellboy 1 and 2. Both were great. And so let's take a look at the new trailer, and then we'll come back and talk about impressions.
Absolutely.
All right,
Great.
here we go.
On an island off the coast of Scotland, something was summoned from the depths of hell. Something that would end mankind.
And this thing you worried about, did it show up?
Oh, yes. You did.
We face every threat there is, and yet you take me in. Hello, son. Made me a goddamn weapon.
Where's my fucking violin?
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Out there's a 5th century sorceress who wants to bring down the curtain on London and the world.
Great. Homework.
Why do you fight for those who hate and fear you? You were meant for this. Out of the ashes, new Eden will emerge.
Okay, I'd appreciate a prophecy with more relatable stakes.
Haven't we got to be saving the world or something?
Yeah, okay, come on. Let's get your game face on. Yeah, come on, let's do this.
Be my king. We belong together, you and I.
We do, but this is not gonna work, you know, because I'm a Capricorn and you're fucking nuts!
Sold on that last line. That was really...
Yeah, that might be my favorite last line of any trailer. You're fucking nuts!
I might be a Capricorn, but you're fucking nuts. That was good. It looks really fun.
I wasn't sure because without Guillermo del Toro and without Ron Perlman,
I know it's weird.
you know, is this going to be good? But first of all, played by David, what's his name?
From Stranger Things.
Harbour. Stranger Things cop, like the coolest guy.
Yeah.
He's perfect for the part. And the director is Neil Marshall, who directed one of your favorite horror movies of all time.
The Descent.
Right.
One of the best horror movies I've ever seen, and probably one of the only horror movies that ever made me jump in my seat in the movie theater. Well, first of all, it's got a real claustrophobic element to it. These young girls take a trip and go cave climbing or caving. Crawling or whatever you want to call it, and it just gets very claustrophobic. But then I don't want to give it away like the trailer had.
No, exactly. Okay, so.
But anyway, there's something that happens in that film that you don't expect.
And this is about a bunch of. It's basically they also summon something dark, don't they?
Not quite like that. It's not they.
Or it's
there's something going. Yeah, but anyway, it's just really well done. I think it's Is he Australian?
No,
was that film Australian?
you know what? I was just looking that up. He is from, I'll tell you exactly
I thought
right
that
now.
film was Australian for some reason.
No, but there's some great Australian horror.
Yeah. Australia's doing really good with horror.
No, he's from Newcastle upon Tyne.
Okay, but where was the film shot?
Oh, where was it shot? I can tell you that in a second. Hold on. You mean The Descent?
The Descent. Well, it
was shot.
Or like,
do we have production?
Or does it say whether it's an Australian film?
Hold on. Usually it says right here. Details. Filming locations. Looks like UK and UK.
Okay.
It was all UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, brilliant film. So Neil Marshall did this. So it looks really interesting. It's amazing what we can do with CGI now. It looks really, really good.
Well, there's two shots that stick out for me. One is the makeout scene with the bathing in blood. That kind of reminded me of Mandy, the Nicolas Cage movie.
Another great horror film.
And there was also just when he's riding that Pegasus and wielding Excalibur. I mean, I think that looks good. And Ryan Stick84 is telling us this looks awesome. There's never been an April release schedule like this year before. Never. And Respawn says, I agree with most of the internet that without Ron, it won't do well.
I don't know.
But David, I mean, if you're going to I think brilliant casting. I understand without Ron, but Ron might, excuse me,
comedic.
did I just become a 13-year-old boy? Yeah, it was
comedic.
Yeah,
Well, I
with
don't know,
Ron,
but they're pretty funny there.
I'm thinking he's taking it to more of an extreme. I think Ron was too safe. I mean, not too safe. And I Respawn. I apologize. I don't want to. This is not meant to shit on Ron in any way, shape, or form. I loved Beauty and the Beast and whatever else he was in. But I'm a huge fan of David.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
no, listen. Hey, it's good. I think it's gonna be great. Neil Marshall is really good.
Should we do another trailer?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Another trailer that just came out, I think yesterday. This is the newest trailer for a superhero movie that I think our man Ben is probably pretty excited about because he's a big fan of the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. So this it is a DCEU movie, is it not?
Marvel, yeah. What is this? Marvel.
Shazam? No, because Batman makes an appearance in this trailer. Let's have a look.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Daily Bats, I choose you as a champion. Say my name so my powers will become yours. Shazam.
Wait, for real?
Say it, okay? Say my name.
That's crazy, right?
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude? I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
This is proof of authenticity. Super strength. Electricity manipulation. Hyperspeed.
I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
His name is Captain Sparkle Fingers.
No, it's not. That's not my name.
Chosen one.
Oh, you're like a bad guy, right?
You literally did the opposite of what a superhero is supposed to do.
You're him. You're the hero.
You're welcome for not getting robbed.
I'm Batman.
Get him back in!
How old are you? Basically 15.
Dude, did you see that?
Yeah, you electrocuted a bus and almost killed these people.
And then I caught it!
You leave tall buildings in a single bound.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, there's some funny moments.
Yeah,
some funny moments there.
They're taking a page, I think, because this is, yes, it is the DCEU, and taking a page maybe from Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Ragnarok, looking at the more comedic side of superheroes.
Yeah.
Starring Zachary Levi, who I guess is most well known for Chuck.
Yeah, I don't know this guy.
But it says here he was also in Tangled, the series. Weren't you in a Tangled?
Oh yeah, but that was different. That was like a pilot for some other show. It was
Okay,
not,
so you weren't in.
No, not Tangled.
No,
the
gotcha.
series.
Okay.
No.
But this, he's also in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So he's certainly a guy with the star on the rise. He was also in Thor Ragnarok, and so that's weird when you've got like the Marvel universe colliding with the DC universe, and there's also what's his name. I'm trying to remember his name. Actor Jimmu Hansu.
Oh yeah.
Who's in this and also in Captain Marvel, which we will get to in a couple of minutes. You see? Zam. So is that the kind of movie, does that look appealing to you?
It's not my favorite kind of movie, to be honest, but it looks fun. Like Julian was saying, it must be fun for an adult to play a young kid, and it's got a Deadpool.
Right, exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fun, but the trailer is not something that really calls my attention to, like, I must go see this at the big screen.
Right, but maybe your daughter will be more into that.
She's not.
No, she's not a superhero?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
No, although she loves like Alita, and she likes the women superheroes.
Perfect
Wonder Woman.
segue. Okay.
Wonder Woman, we both loved.
Well, me too.
Okay,
and
good.
Today, I had a chance to see an advanced screening of screaming.
An advanced
Freudian
screaming.
slip of Captain Marvel. Yeah. So this is movie number, I don't know. This is like the second to last movie in phase 3 of the MCU.
I can't keep track.
What's that? Movie number 19, yeah, exactly. Starts off, so I'll do my little review here, okay?
Okay.
So it starts off, fans of Stan Lee. Which camera should I look at, by the way? Mine, okay. Fans of Stan Lee will be happy because there's a really nice tribute to start the whole thing. They do something really cool to just pay homage to Stan Lee, which I really like. This is the movie I think everyone's been anticipating because we're kind of, I think there's a feeling that just what Black Panther did for for marginalized black community in superhero movies, this is going to do for women in superhero movies. And so there's a lot riding on its shoulder. It's also the fact that Marvel has done no wrong and has been riding so high with basically Black Panther, the most recent Avengers, and Thor Ragnarok, for that matter, and Deadpool. But then again, I guess Deadpool's not exactly the same thing. But I mean, they're riding high, and so there is obviously a fever pitch. I think already they're predicting this is going to do better at the box office than Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which was a huge, huge boon to Marvel. Let's see the trailer, and then we'll come back, and I'll literally talk about it.
Okay.
So Skrulls are the bad guys.
They're shapeshifters.
And you're a warrior.
Noble warrior hero.
And what do they want?
That's what I'm here to find out. Don't answer that.
War is coming. You can't do this alone. Know your enemy.
What aren't you telling me?
Would you like to know what you really are?
Captain Marvel, rated PG-13. Get tickets now.
Train's heading for a tunnel up ahead.
Let's greet them at the station.
So as you can see,
So that wasn't the trailer I saw.
No, well, there was like a little trailer, and then I guess we got privy to an extended scene there. That's always
what's
fun.
going on. Yeah.
So Brie Larson.
I love Brie Larson.
Yes, Oscar winner. And have you seen Reboot? No, right. Right. Okay, let's talk about that.
Should I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Room is one of the films that I'm most afraid to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting to see it since it came out, and I haven't been able to find the right moment. Because being a mother, I just heard that it's going to be really hard to watch. She's incredible. Just the premise and everything is frightening to me. And I just, as an actress, we have to be careful not to cry too much the night before we go shoot something, or we have an audition, or so that we don't have...
Get puffy?
Get puffy. So every time I think I have a moment to watch Room, it's not like the appropriate time to watch Room.
Oh, okay.
It's the only film I'm afraid to watch. But she's incredible. She's really good.
She is, and she's really what makes this movie. I would
You're talking
say,
about Room?
Well, Room, of course, yeah. But this movie, I mean, she
okay.
carries it 100%. The casting is a little bit, I feel that Marvel has done it better in other movies, although she is a really good addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She carries the movie. What's really interesting is Samuel L. Jackson and I forget the other actor, but the guy who plays Coulson. Clark Craig? Right. So they get youngified, and they're both quite
Really?
young in this movie. In fact, Nick Fury is pre-eye patch.
Hey, they could totally make us look younger now. It's CGI. That's amazing.
They could also deep fake us. I mean, we might not even be here having this conversation for that matter. But
we can. Oh wow, we can go back and continue shooting student bodies and look exactly the same way as we did
exactly. Well, you're still looking great.
Aw, thank you.
The movie itself, I have to admit, as much as I enjoyed it, and I think it's important to set up her backstory because she's going to have a huge impact on what's to come.
Right.
I don't think that it rose to the heights of some of, I was such a fan of where they've gone and how dynamic their movies were, and I found that this movie had a little bit too much, what's the word I'm looking for? Why am I drawing a blank? Well, I guess an hour and a half of streaming, it'll happen. Exposition. There was a little bit too much exposition going on.
That happens a lot in these kind of films.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to explain and bring everybody up to speed. What was very interesting, though, is the use of nostalgia. So this movie takes place in the 90s, and the soundtrack is all Elastica and Hole and
fun. Okay,
like
I didn't
all
know that.
So all these songs to kind of and REM and all these songs to put you back in that mood. The fashion is very 90s as well. At one point she bursts into a blockbuster. She literally falls from the sky and breaks through a blockbuster movie store. So which probably brings back memories for you.
Lots.
Did you actually work at a
No,
Blockbuster?
I worked at Video Roma, one of the biggest video stores in the West Island, actually, Montreal, but it wasn't Blockbuster. But we were competing against Blockbuster. That was across the street.
Well, I'd like to hear what people... Oh, actually, Real Brick Wall says, wow, that youngification of Coulson is weird. It is a bit weird. It's a little bit disconcerting, but you kind of get used to it throughout the movie. Okay. What I didn't love is some of the creatures or the characters who... I'm not going to name... I don't want to spoil anything. This is a spoiler-free review.
Right.
So, but some of the CGI characters I wasn't so into. It was a bit of a confusing story as to who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, which I like in general. Hold on, Irivana says, Victoria was looking through your IMDb and see you voice one of my favorite Mankind Divided characters. Thank you.
Alex Vega.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's super cool. Yeah, that was one of the most recent ones.
Well, guys, keep these coming. I love to do this. Like, ask anything you want. If you want to know something about that character, well, here's your chance to ask Victoria. So I would recommend Captain Marvel. I think it's going to do really well at the box office. I don't think it's going to win an Oscar, which is where Marvel is now. That's the level that they're at.
Right.
I don't think it's Black Panther. I don't think it's Thor Ragnarok. But it's propelling. Also interesting that it takes place in the 90s because I think
that makes things more fun.
But also in terms of where things are going, because as most of us know, at the end of Infinity War, half the world died. So the fact that this is all happening in a prior timeline, I think, is important to what's going to come next.
And more interesting, for sure. And I love when they put cool 80s or 90s soundtracks to movies. It just really adds to and it's like Stranger Things, you know.
Stranger Things, one of
so
produced
good.
by a Montrealer,
Right.
Sean Levy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
I was going to say though, last week I had Darren Curtis and Fred Bobot on the show, and
Both very cool guys.
And we started talking about soundtracks. So I asked that, could you name your favorite movie soundtrack?
Oof.
Or one that you listen to a lot?
Bless you. That I listen to a lot. Okay, no, maybe I listen to movie soundtracks like a while ago more than now. But I mean, Some Kind of Wonderful back in the day was one. Some Quentin Tarantino ones.
Oh God, yeah, he was the king of that.
Not Reservoir Dogs, the other one.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Gosh, it's hard to remember all the really good ones. Anyway, if I think of any while we're talking, I'll bring it up.
Oh no! Are you serious? Okay, because one of our users says, "Ugh, Eric, I still haven't seen Infinity War yet." If you haven't seen Infinity War and you're watching Twitch, you deserve to know what happened. You deserve it, okay? Besides, you don't even like the MCU. You like the DCEU. But yeah, so all of which to say, Captain Marvel, I'd be curious. I'm very curious how it's going to do. It's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 83%. I don't know if it's that deserving of the praise. She is good in it. I actually found Samuel L. Jackson less annoying in this movie than I usually do.
Good.
I find he's annoying in every movie. What was he doing in Star Wars?
There's just certain actors that I know.
That was just a bad choice.
There's a lot of weird choices like that.
Yeah.
More and more.
Well then, okay. Name me some weird choices in movies.
Oh God.
You walked right into that one.
Well, there's always some weird ones in Star Wars. And
Jimmy Smits as well. That was.
Was it Independence Day? I don't remember. But the big blockbusters sometimes. But Samuel L. Jackson is one that seems to walk into certain ones.
Oh, he's
in
everywhere. But there was a while where he was everywhere.
Yeah.
He does a pretty decent job here.
Yeah.
And like I said, for me, it's the soundtrack and the.
And it's not because they're bad actors necessarily. You know, it's sometimes you also get too used to seeing a certain actor.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just like, oh, there he is again.
So, we were talking horror. Do you like old horrors? Are you into things like, Bela Lugosi and, Ed Wood and things like that?
For sure. I'm a huge Tim Burton fan.
Okay.
Huge Tim Burton fan.
Are you looking forward to Dumbo?
But I know that we're not talking about those kinds of old horror.
No, we could still talk about that.
But one of the reasons that I actually got into horror was because my father, who was a documentary filmmaker, and obsessed with films and still is, used to sit my brother and I in front of those old projectors on,
like a Steinberg?
Yeah, and would project old horror movies on the wall.
You're kidding me.
Like The Mummy, silent films, the Wolf one, Nosferatu.
Really?
So I was like my daughter's age, and I really, really got into that. And then after that, I was just obsessed with spooky stories, wanting to scare my friends, wanting to tell stories, wanting to then make horror movies, and yeah, that's how it all started.
And now you're making horror movies. Yeah. Well, if you're a fan of that stuff, I had an experience recently that I have to talk about because I'm really fascinated with VR. And there's this movie, I think it premiered at Cannes, sorry. And also had a run at another festival, and now it's here in Montreal at a place called the Phi Center, which is like such a cool venue. And apparently, it may start to travel around and tour. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but this is so cool. It is a mix of immersive theater and VR, so immersive technology and immersive theater, and it's all basically you get to participate in the making of an Ed Wood film starring Bela Lugosi, and the guy playing Bela Lugosi is an actor, and you're in the room with him, and he is wearing the mocap stuff, and so you have the screens, and you could see the motion capture right there, like you're seeing the scene being made, and you're participating in it. And let's see a clip.
That's so brilliant.
So you can kind of understand. I highly recommend if you guys are into horror and into Tim Burton and Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi. I'm so going. Look out for this. Mm-hmm. It's called. Hold on, I want to make sure I have the exact title of it. It's The Horrifically Real Virtuality. so much fun.
I'm so glad you told me about this. So how did you find it?
Well, being, in the press, you get invited to press screenings and press events and whatnot. So it actually was, I got to see it the day before it opened to the public. Now it's open to the public, just in Montreal for the moment. But keep your eyes out for horrifically real virtuality, because you get to, it's the immersive theater part. I don't know if you've ever been to immersive theater where the audience is
so
kind
you
of...
get that feeling, but...
You're involved.
Right.
And so you're there and you get to witness, and there's an actor playing Ed Wood, and there's an actor playing Bela Lugosi, and I won't. There are things that I can't spoil, but you just have to kind of go with an open mind and let all the experience wash over you, and eventually the audience members. I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that you all become those aliens from Ed Wood with the little things.
Oh my God, that's fun. But seeing someone different in those roles, other actors, it didn't bother you too much, that part?
No, not at all.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's a testament to this production that they found the right people
to
play
people.
the right. But the technology also helped a tremendous amount, and it's so cool where VR is going these days. I think in a future episode, I want to talk more about VR, because I've been seeing so many. Applications. It's not just for entertainment anymore. It's for training purposes and for simulations.
I can't wait to travel with it.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to put that on and be like, okay, I've always dreamt of going to Thailand. I'm hoping to go next year, but it's been like 20 years. I want to go to Thailand. But just put it on and check out, if I want to go to Phuket or if I want to go to Bangkok, just see how that would feel and places I want to see. And
it's pronounced fuck it.
I know, I've tried
No.
no, isn't it Phuket? Is it Phuket?
It's Phuket, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know, I always
and it's Ko-Phi, but it's not...
and Koh Samui, what's it
Koh Samui, yeah. All brilliant places.
You've been?
I have been, yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the food.
I know. I can't wait to go.
So now I want to talk about something that's a little bit more icky.
Okay.
But I think it's going to make for a good discussion.
All
and
right.
It's what everyone is talking about these days. It's on everybody's lips because that HBO documentary just aired about called Leaving Neverland. This documentary about Michael Jackson. Let us know what you guys think. I'm sure some of you have seen it already. It's a very, very, very damning documentary, and I felt like that documentary the way you do about Room. I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to put myself in that position, because I love Michael Jackson's music so much. And as I'm watching it last night, and I'm trying to...
So you did watch it?
I did. Well, I watched part one. There's part one and part two.
Okay.
And actually, let me preface this by saying I worked at... I was producing a live event last year, 2 years ago, in London, in the UK. And there was one of the artists that we had for this event did an amazing Stevie Wonder cover, and we wanted him to do another cover. And he's like, I got a great one. I do Ignition by R. Kelly. And I remember thinking, and this was before the R. Kelly documentary came out, but everybody knew, what terrible things he had been up to before. And I remember thinking, I just don't think that's appropriate. And I said, do you have any other covers that you could do? And he says, well, how about Michael Jackson? It's like, great, do it. Why was it okay? Back then it was that R. Kelly, there was proof, and Michael Jackson, there wasn't proof. But now, with this documentary, I'm like, there's radio stations that are now boycotting Michael Jackson. And so I know you haven't seen it, but the question I want to ask, and I'll ask it to all of you guys, is it possible to separate the artist from the art? And or is that just me rationalizing the fact, I think Michael Jackson's music is a positive force. And if you were to deny people of that positivity because of what he did, then are we denying people something that would otherwise make so many people happy?
It's an interesting discussion, and I've actually had it very recently through posts, but one of my all-time favorite singers is Morrissey from the Smiths, Morrissey and the Smiths. But so he's coming to Montreal. It's been a really long time, and I was really excited about this. And then there was some posts that were posted, and a friend of mine, who I hope you're going to have on the show eventually, Simon Peacock, is a great.
I love Simon.
Yes,
let's bring him on.
Great guy. Anyway, he brought up some stuff about Morrissey, and I always knew he was a bit of a scumbag, but already I was separating the artist from the person. when he came, the last time he came to Montreal, I think it was at Théâtre Saint-Denis, and there was a massive encore because it had been like 8 years since we hadn't seen him, and so all the loyal fans were there, and everyone wanted to see him, come back for an encore. It was one of the biggest like beggings of an encore I've ever seen, and he just split. Like there was no encore, And I was like, oh, the fucking asshole, But we all know he's arrogant. But then
you kind of want Morrissey to be arrogant, don't you?
But then there's some political stuff that come up that are not pleasant. Like I don't even know if we should get into it, but defending, Kevin Spacey's and like that whole predator versus victim thing, and he's defending kind of like the wrong people on that, boat, and so there's things like that, and like. So then we had this discussion of like, well, what do you do? Now that I know that it's gone that far and that he's gone that far, what do I do? Do I stop listening to Morrissey? Do I not go to the show?
Well, that's just it. So I don't think I can watch The Cosby Show anymore, but I can listen to Beat It and not have any problem with that. Mel Gibson.
It might have different connotations to the songs now. That's the problem.
Well, that's true.
That's the problem.
Yes. No, but that, we say that in jest, but it's actually true that all these songs, the way you make me feel, or I'm bad.
Yeah. There was a bit of that going on in George Michael back in the day too. I don't know if you remember.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
When we started listening to the words of the songs a little bit differently, and there's a bit of stuff, weird stuff.
Well, when you look, and that's also interesting is when you look in hindsight. But okay. So we have a comment. And I hope I'm pronouncing the name right.
Yes.
Eruvana.
Eruvana.
Okay, it says, I absolutely think it's possible to separate the artist from the art. Someone can do some really shitty things, but still do some good things. Shouldn't downplay either part. Okay, but what about, what about Bill Cosby? Can we, because here's what I think.
And that was such a great show.
That was a great show. And this may be a hot take, okay? I apologize to anyone I may offend here. But I do believe that in Bill Cosby's case, or in Mel Gibson's case, or even Lars von Trier's case, these people absolutely not only knew what they were doing, but there was maliciousness. I don't think, I think Michael Jackson, it was a case of arrested development. And I used to think he probably slept in the bed with those boys, but I don't think anything inappropriate or anything sexual happened. It was probably just inappropriate for a grown man to be sleeping with kids.
That's what I thought.
They're saying, these kids are saying that no, there was very terrible things happening. There's also other people who have pointed out some of the grievances that those kids have had with Michael Jackson's estate and how they were the ones who were adamantly defending him before. So I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent. I'm just saying I feel that Michael Jackson had, he was a little kid and he might not have realized what.
That's how I always felt, and I have not seen these two documentaries, but I always felt even like there was a sickness or like some kind of disconnect, and I don't want to excuse, I don't know. We don't know what happened really.
But are we just being like, I'm fully able to say maybe he is a monster and I just don't want to accept that.
There's that too.
John Verall says there's also an interesting wrinkle. Michael Jackson is dead. Cosby, Spacey, etc. are still alive.
Yeah.
And that's true. In the documentary, Michael can't defend himself.
No.
And if you look at it, and there's nobody, a good documentary, as I'm sure your dad would tell you, you want to have both sides. You want to have, even any news story, you want to be able to explore both sides. But this Michael Jackson documentary doesn't necessarily have the two sides of the story.
Wasn't there another documentary too a while back with the guy that
yes, exactly.
him, but he was alive back then, so there was. Yeah. What was that? Anyway.
But so we went through this with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
In fact,
when he was alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I worked at a music station, a French music, like the MTV of French Canada, called Music Plus.
Music Plus.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. You had dreads.
I did. Yeah.
You did. I remember him.
Someone pull up a photo.
Oh my God.
And I remember one thing that we did is when that trial was going on, TV stations could buy the right to broadcast it. And so we would broadcast it, but since we were a French station, we had our host, Mike Gauthier, and we would invite 2 lawyers, and we would watch, and on commercial breaks, we would then go live to explain everything that happened. So, I mean, we were all exposed to these kids talking about, the discoloration of his penis and this and that, and so it's like not anything that haven't heard before, but maybe in the context of Me Too, in the context of Kevin Spacey and Gian Gomeshi and Bill Cosby, it's a different world, and I mean...
And who gets what treatment, and...
I don't know.
Why should you differentiate where someone should get a certain treatment and not another? And
I'm not ready to turn off Michael Jackson yet.
I'm not ready to turn off Morrissey.
Well, okay, but I was going to say Morrissey.
And he's coming.
Are you going to go see him?
You know what? Because of everything I read recently, I haven't gone for the tickets yet.
Really? Because of his defense
I'm still undecisive about the separating the artist versus everything that I've read recently.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm curious what the people out there think. Do we have any commenters about separating art and artist? I feel like maybe we're treading into dangerous territory.
Yeah, we might be. Maybe we should change the subject. This is crazy. Okay. No, but I haven't seen the documentary yet. I'm afraid to, yeah.
Okay, so then let's talk about, something else. Boy, the real downer end of the show, but one of your favorite shows, Riverdale, and we just lost Luke Perry.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about that?
Well, there's a lot of emotions. I think everyone's going through this. I mean, he was such a part of our lives. 90210 was such a big part of our lives, and then now Riverdale became such a big part of our lives. But he was also a very, very good person, from my understanding of what I've heard about him throughout the years. I also got to work with Shannon Doherty back in the days. Yeah, we did.
Was she a bitch?
No, she was amazing, actually. I really, really enjoyed working with her, and she. We did a movie called Satan's School for Girls. Made by Aaron Spelling. It was actually one of the only movies he ever made.
No way.
It was a remake of a 70s version, which had like all the girls from Charlie's Angels or something. Anyway, the point of that was that I had heard already from then on what a good person he was, and then more recently, and also it just emotionally brought me back to Student Bodies and that bond that we had with the cast, and like how if I heard right now that one of the guys from the cast passed so young, how that would make me feel, and it's just really sad. He really went too young. He was right in the middle of some amazing things.
Apparently, what's the name of the town in BC where they filmed that? They film, is it Hope, BC? Somewhere in British Columbia, they film Riverdale, and there's a diner now where they've named a milkshake after him.
Oh, really?
In honor of
that
him.
I didn't hear. I didn't read
exactly.
that.
But so I haven't seen Riverdale. No, I mean, I read Archie comics.
Yeah, I was a huge Archie comic. I like humongous collection.
Do you know who my crush? And people
Betty.
always say no. Do you know who it was?
Oh wait.
It wasn't Betty or Veronica.
Josie? No.
Well, you're so
Midge,
close.
Midge.
No.
What?
Wasn't Midge the big weird one?
No, she was the little one with Moose.
Oh no. Oh, I was thinking of Ethel. Sorry, Big Ethel. No, that's not. No. That's who I thought you meant when you said Midge. No, my crush.
It would have been cool to see Big Ethel in Riverdale, but anyway.
Melody.
Oh yeah.
She played drums.
I know.
She was beautiful, and
they were all beautiful.
It was just a musical note whenever she spoke. I had a big crush.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But apparently the show, so it's like really taking that, all the tropes that I guess we knew from the comics and turning it on its head.
Well, it was creating a darker version of Archie, much darker version of Archie. Let me tell you something. When I first saw the poster, I knew nothing about this Riverdale show. I first saw a poster, and there was just a car on it, and it said Riverdale. I was like, I can't believe someone beat me to this.
You would have done it?
I can't believe someone beat me to this.
Really, eh?
Because I'm so in love with the concept of taking like a childhood memory like that's like all cool and uplifting and giving it a dark twist to it. It's beautiful.
I have a great game then. We're going to do it right here.
Okay.
Okay? You mentioned Breakfast Club, where we were talking John Hughes.
And how cool would it be to make some dark versions of those
right.
movies?
Okay, so recast Breakfast Club for me.
Oh my God.
With today's actors.
Oh my God. Oh, what a challenge. Okay, Johnny. Ugh. Well, Johnny Johnny Depp would have made a great Johnny back in the day, but okay, now. The guy who plays Jughead, I forget his name. He's so cute. If I was back in my 20s, I'd find him so cute. But the guy who plays Jughead, what's his name? Do you guys know his name? Okay. God, I should know this. Anyway, he would be a great Johnny. A nerd, who's a nerdy character, maybe like Sarah? Michael Sarah, Cole something?
Oh, Michael Cera would be great though
Michael
for
Cera,
for the Anthony Michael Hall character.
Yeah.
Right?
What?
Cole Sprouse. Okay.
Cole Sprouse, yeah, he's very cute. Then there was Ali Sheedy's character. I could see maybe like Ellen Page or something.
Yes, I like this.
Maybe someone a little bit darker. Anyway, then Molly Ringwald's the princess.
Who's today's Molly Ringwald?
Not Anne Hathaway's too commercial, too mainstream.
Yeah, no, we have to find someone a little edgier.
Yeah, but still have that princess. Molly Ringwald really nailed that role.
Oh, didn't she ever?
And then she's back in Riverdale as the mom.
See, like I said, I don't watch. I don't know.
Yeah,
so Molly
that's
Ringwald
amazing.
Is
it's amazing how they bring back these actors that we loved from all these films and TV shows.
It's a WB show, isn't it? Is it WB? Or it's like or CW. CW.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Real Brick Wall says Sabrina is an Archie comics
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
So they did. Did you see Sabrina?
No.
They did a dark version of Sabrina. Brilliant.
Really?
Yeah.
Eh?
Brilliant. They nailed it.
So that's the new.
I want to keep playing that Breakfast Club. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
No. But it just we can go on because otherwise we'll be here forever trying to.
No. Let's do it. In fact, I've got the next
give
one.
me the princess girl though.
Okay. I'm less.
Okay. Fans, guys out there. You guys come up with some casts for Breakfast Club. If you know Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Okay. Give us the Molly Ringwald equivalent.
And
now,
Emilio Estevez, the jock. Okay, the jock.
Oh, might as well get like a sports. Let's flip the script and give it maybe a basketball player like.
But that can act.
Yeah, exactly. Shaq. I don't know, LeBron. Well, no, maybe not LeBron. Okay, wait.
Oh, I don't know. Gosh. Okay, anyways.
What about student bodies? Why don't you do a dark version of student bodies?
Someone told me about that just 2 days ago. Actually, it's so funny.
Really?
Who was it? A friend of mine was like, why don't you make it a dark version of it?
Yeah, for Canadian audiences,
Lenny,
actually.
was it you? Yes, it was my friend Lenny.
Lenny? Hi, Lenny.
I think it was Lenny. I'm pretty sure. He always has amazing ideas. We're actually writing a show called Lenny's.
I've heard. Okay, so let me get this straight. It's Cheers meets Seinfeld
meets Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And it's being written right now.
Yeah, it's being written right now. So it's very early stages of development. I've got a lot of things in development, but that's one of them that I'm really putting my heart into. You know, you start learning who you want to work with and what you want to do, and write about what you know. And this is all based on real characters, a real place. And I'm really excited about exploring comedy, actually.
Well, you've named pretty much 3 of my absolute favorite properties, IP, whatever you want to call it, in the world. Cheers was probably the greatest written show of all time.
Yeah.
Like the characters, the development of those characters was fantastic. Seinfeld, unless you put Curb Your I can't one or the other.
On the same boat.
But nothing beats. I literally could still watch any Seinfeld episode ever and know all the lines and be happy to watch it. Yeah. And Goodfellas.
But enjoy it in Goodfellas, yeah, for sure.
So when can we see Lenny? When is that going to be?
Well, we're really in the beginning stages of the writing.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to shoot the pilot this year, but we'll see. I can't promise anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get the script. We all want to get the script as perfect as possible before we jump into it. But we would shoot it here in Montreal with actors we know because there's such a great talent pool.
So much talent on this couch.
On this couch already that you've seen already, and and just start. There's a lot of Italians in this one, obviously, but it takes place in St. Leonard, so.
which is the Italian area.
Italian area.
Where they speak a I mean, nowhere else in the world do they speak like Montreal Italians.
Yeah, and that hasn't been explored yet. So I'm into wanting to tap things that haven't been really tapped.
So what else are you working on now? Because you mentioned Adam, your partner
McDonald?
on and you
we're
guys are working
co-creating
on
a show as well.
Yeah.
It's called Night Terrors. So it's like a horror anthology.
Like Night of the.
It's like Riverdale meets Black Mirror.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's taking teenage issues and exploring them to the extreme and turning them into horror stories. So you could have different themes like breakup or suicide or acne or like whatever it is that these characters go through, and each episode is a different character. So it's a different story, and it's a different.
Are they related, or they're all separate?
There's like an interlacing quality to the show, but they're completely different stories. It's just that you might see someone in the background in one episode in a car, and then like in the next episode, we're in that car, and it's something's going on in there, and that's. But the stories are very different. Even the supernatural elements are different in each story.
That's cool. Well, that kind of reminds me in a very different way, but one of my favorite movie concepts of all time is a movie called Slacker. Was it Slacker or Slacker?
Oh, yeah. Where they bump into each other and stuff?
No. Richard Linklater, and it was like, you and I might be walking down the street having a conversation, and the camera's following us, and as we
bump into each other.
And then it just follows the next people.
Yeah, but they would have these bumping into each other moments, and then suddenly, it was brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, Richard Linklater can do can he do wrong?
What else did he do?
Dazed and Confused.
Oh,
my single favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, that's definitely in my top 10.
If I'm not mistaken, he also did School of Rock.
Okay.
Linklater did. There was a movie a couple of years ago, also with Jack Black, that was like, he was like a killer. It was a comedy about a killer who ended up living upstairs. He lived upstairs in the basement. Oh my God! Hold on. I have to find this. We're gonna do the Linklater, and
my daughter loves Jack Black.
Well, Jack Black is pretty awesome.
I love Jack White.
Jack White too. Okay, but now we're getting off topic.
I know.
In fact, I think it's about time to wrap it up. Is that
already? Wow,
yeah.
That went by super fast.
But let me just find Linklater. Linklater. Let's see. Okay, so Richard Linklater, the movies that he's done. There was Waking Life as well. That was amazing.
Boyhood? Did you do Boyhood?
Yeah, Boyhood.
Oh my God.
Okay, let me just tell you about Boyhood.
Okay.
So, my son was born July 14th, 2014, and there was a press screening and Linklater's my favorite director, and I was very excited about Boyhood, and my son was due in August, but on July 14th, 6 weeks before he was due, all of a sudden, water broke, and ended up, going to the hospital. He was born. It only took an hour. It was a crazy thing, and then because he was premature, we had to stay in the hospital.
So was mine, but mine took forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but anyway.
An hour. But anyways, you guys don't need to know this, but I somehow, in the strangest haze, woke up the next morning in the hospital room, knowing that I had a press screening for Boyhood, and kissed my son and girlfriend goodbye and said, I'm going to see a movie. And I walked up and I went and I sat down and watched Boyhood, a movie over 12 years filmed of a boy's life. And it was the most moving experience knowing that I had a 1-day-old son at the hospital.
That's incredible. What a great story.
Yeah, so that movie means a lot to me.
For
Linklater means a lot to me.
Okay, well, no wonder he's your favorite director.
The movie that Bernie, that was the name of the movie.
Oh.
With Jack Black, where he played.
Okay.
He's an affable mortician who strikes up a friendship with a wealthy widow.
Right, I never saw it.
It was. But the interesting thing is that the real Bernie ended up living upstairs from Richard Linklater. Like, he's that nice that this guy.
So it's based on a real character.
It's based on a real character.
Oh, that's fun. I love it when things are based on real characters.
So he did, if I'm not mistaken.
Like that Dirty John series I told you about.
Right, which I have to check out.
Very scary.
Slacker, Dazed and Confused, Bad News Bears, me and Orson Welles. Before he did the whole Midnight series, Before Midnight, with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy.
Oh yeah, of course. That was all improvised. There was a lot of improvisation going on in that one, which I found really cool.
Are you a big improviser?
I love improv, and I really do. And One of the first films that got me into producing was Trois Saisons, a film that we shot here, and it was $15,000 budget. It was a feature film that we shot over 9 months. And Jim Donovan, the director, came up to me and he asked me if I was interested in being a production manager on it. I'd never done it before, but I'm always willing to try something, that I haven't tried before. So I was like, okay. I took on the challenge, and we did that, and we made it happen. It won 7 international film festival awards, really? Absolutely, or 6, but it was insane. Great film. We're very proud of it. But what I want to say about it is that there was no real script. There was like an outline, and the actors knew what they had to do in the scene. Sean Bachu was in that, actually. He did a really, really good job in that movie. And so they knew what they had to do from A to Z in that scene, and they would improv it. And
like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It was so well done.
That's how they do Curb, or did Curb.
There's a realism that comes out of that that's really great. I highly recommend people to work that way, especially on their first films and stuff. Really...
So speaking of films, now's the time where you can plug whatever you have coming up.
Oh my gosh.
Where can people find you, first of all?
Find me.
Online.
Okay. Twitter, Love Collector. That's the name for Twitter. Online, Facebook. There's Victoria Sanchez, filmmaker. It's not always updated because there's so much going on all the time.
Good for you.
And there's a lot of things in development, and then things shift. You have something in priority in development, and then something happens, and you have to prioritize another thing. And producing is such a crazy world, It's such a crazy world, and in the acting stuff, there's things that are coming up that I can't really speak about yet, but
big exciting things.
Maybe not as exciting as Jack Ryan, but there's just a lot going on, and I'm very excited about the things that are in development.
That's great. Well, I'm excited for Lenny.
Lenny's, Night Terrors, that's looking really good too. So that's pretty advanced in development.
And a dark version of Student Bodies.
That is something that I'd be willing to explore. I mean, it would be definitely great to see a real reunion show.
Yeah.
But what I I like to see, before it was, it's not real life, it's high school. Mm-hmm. And I want to see, well, it's not high school, it's real life. And
brilliant.
Switch it into that, well, we're in our 40s now, and still keep the comedy, but, I don't know if there's a movie called something 40s or Turning 40 or...
This is 40?
This is 40? Did you see that one?
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That kind of humor. Yeah.
You know what? I got chills. I really like this idea.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but the dark idea is really cool too.
Well, I want to have you back. I think we could literally talk for hours and hours and hours.
I know.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Fun.
And
Thanks for listening.
Tomorrow, 7 p.m. friend request with Julian, and you're playing Castle Crashers.
Ooh.
Unlike Rosie at Cosplay, where she was like, "What's Castle Crashers?" I'm going to pretend I know everything there is to know about Castle Crashers. I know nothing. But tune in, because I'm sure it's going to be awesome, and Julian is the man. And on behalf of Julian and the whole team here, and Victoria and myself, thank you all very much.
We'll
catch you next week.